this mutable instrument's going to do. It's not. It's not ever going to beat the wind chime. Or is it? Hey, Studio Geek 32, how's it going? Let me kill this reverb here. I was just playing some flute with some reverb. Let's make sure I'm doing this right without looking at the screen. Okay. Is that too much reverb on my voice? No, it's not. How are my levels? All right, Mr. Basic is live. My notifications are telling me. That is good. That is good. How are you, Studio Geek 32? How are you all out there in the world of seeing this after it's live? I'm doing good. Happy Monday. It is a happy Monday because, well, for one, for me, just a little bit of a hello, hi, hello. Awesome. Studio Geek 32 is dropping a live stream at 3:30. His new album is dropping today. Yes. All right. Inky, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Inky. Awesome. Awesome. We only have one of those a year. That's really rare. That's awesome. Cool. Yeah. I love other people's birthdays. Yeah. As far as Christmas goes, I thought everything was going to come on in January because that's what Amazon told me after I checked out everything. But now that I've tracked my packages, it looks like everything's going to come this week. So, yes, they were just being extra safe and not get people angry at them, early on, that sort of thing. Expect the worst, and that's awesome. So I'm doing good. All right. Yeah, it's good to see you both in here. Yeah, so basically I've patched up my modular once and did a little bit with it and then I I've since unpatched everything. But actually it's pretty simple because there's not that much that I feel like well, there's a lot I can do, but as far as sequencing and things goes, there's not much I can do with the modular. So I think it's pretty easy to explain, and I think it's a nice little thing to go through. And Marshall Arnold, I was kind of just waiting on the comments for that video for somebody to ask me to do an explanation video, and Marshall Arnold has in the comments asked me to do an explanation on how I patched that. So even though it wasn't anything special, it's always good to just know what's going on. And people, when it comes to modular, people like to actually like learn stuff about what they're seeing and not just necessarily just like bask in the wonderfulness of the music. That's cool, but if you're looking at it, hey, why not? Why not know what went on? And so I might do that a lot. Just kind of like put out 2 videos, even though I didn't do it this time because I was like asking for approval first or something, but I think it's a good way to go. But this time I'm going to do it live. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. What speakers am I using? Oh, I'm almost to 200 subscribers. Yeah. Man, I was hoping to lose some, but no, I'm just joking. I have nothing but variety, so I'm always um kind of like afraid that I'm losing subscribers the more I do. Like when I do something else, like I just started live streaming, so I'm like, maybe I'll lose subscribers. I don't know, but I don't really have a consistent content yet, so that my core subscribers are expecting, and so people just kind of I think just tune in so far for whatever, which is cool so far. But I'm probably going to have to get focused. Anyway, the speakers are Rockville ATM8 or something like that. They're basically they're the Rockville, what they call monitors, studio monitors, but they're not because they're huge. They're basically loudspeakers, like PA unit loudspeakers, and that's what they are because they have quite a loud hiss on the tweeter, that has nothing to do with the audio, that just comes out of it just from hearing the driver in the back, basically like you hear your computer humming, that sort of thing, but you can hear it out of the tweeter. It's the driver or the motor or whatever you call it. And that's normal, I guess, but I was expecting kind of a quieter sort of speaker to closely monitor. I don't know. Maybe and so I'm thinking about passives too. Yeah. Yes, thank goodness Amazon is doing more than I thought they would. So, doing faster. Use Yamaha HS8s. Yeah. Yeah, those are awesome. But in town yesterday, I just picked up one of these. This is brand new, actually, reissued. Prince oversaw the reissue of this of Purple Rain. Um, I got it at a big box store of all things, and it was the last one there. It was in this basically like section, little tiny section like this of like all this other stuff like VHS of Gremlins and nostalgic things for people my age, basically, that are like gifts for all, or something like that. Um, but that was a gem in there, especially because I'm gonna go ahead and give it to my wife, and I can say that because I know that she's not gonna watch this because she doesn't watch YouTube. Um, uh, definitely not in time for Christmas to find out. But she's always been a huge Prince fan, and I only recently have learned more and more, more and more Prince myself. But I appreciated the stuff that I uh, did have exposure to. I just happened to like when he was with the new Power Generation. Later on, I call it later on. I guess in the early '90s or something like that. Seven, all seven, and we'll watch them fall. That was really good. Um, yeah, I guess that's when I was watching MTV for like that 1 year or something like that. That we had it. Monitors are urban myth. Yeah, no one hears music other than. Yeah, actually, I think just the best things ever are these headphones because I don't know. I mean, they create an alternate environment, sure, but it sure does feel good because they're always in the right place. And in a real environment, I want quad. Like I want surround sound. Like I want something to surround me. I don't just want this idea of like you're going to triangulate your sound because your ears are like this, blah blah blah. It doesn't really do it for me. And the thing is, I need a longer speaker cord for these because I want to put them just straight left and right because I like that better. I like the way it sounds. Sorry. Sorry, everyone who hasn't even nobody's even discussed that that I know of. The idea of just except maybe for the fact that yeah, that's the thing is they're loudspeakers. They're best when loud, like at a venue, and maybe at a venue people do that. I don't know because I'm not that well versed in how to set up venues. Except I have learned a lot. Now I should get on with it, shouldn't I? I should get on with what the video said it was going to be. Yeah, because this is going to be pretty helpful for people just to understand that modular isn't really that scary. There's only there's only that many things you can do with any given module. There's only that many things you can do. It's just putting them all together that creates all the possibilities. So, which is great. But I'm gonna try to do it like I did this last time. Basically, I've got in here is the microphone here going through the RC505 is going through my Eurorack mixer here, the Roland 531, and I'm not using my Art Pro VLA compressor or mixer here. These are off, and so I have everything going through my Eurorack mixer. So basically, first of all, I've got the mic, and it's going through here for a little bit of vocal processing, a little bit of low pass filter on my voice, so I'm like not like hi, how's it going? Um, some of us need help with that, I think, and I'm one of those people, I think. So I've got that. That's on channel 5 as as a right channel only, I guess. I don't know if you guys are getting it that way, but so and I could put in a stereo signal into this, and it would be on both 5 and 6. It would take up both 5 and 6 channels. Um, so right now I'm taking up channel 5, and so how about we just start with that? What I was using these lighter ones here, the white one here. We'll go from, since our clouds is our effects, into here from our two Platts modules. I've got a Platts and a Platts for sound, and then they go into the left and right of the clouds, and then the clouds will go into the left and right. What am I going to do with this microphone? I need to use a microphone stand. Hope everybody can hear me. Maybe I'll turn myself up a little bit here. Can y'all hear me? Is it even on? Okay. So I'm going to take it out. Take the left out from clouds into channel 1. The right out from clouds into 2. Okay. But what I didn't do is I didn't pan them left and right, because it's coming out of clouds. Clouds is doing its own stereo thing here, effect wise, and so it's gonna decide how to pan what's going on in its own left and right in a way. So basically, what I had going on is I was panning from the LFO on the System 1M. Uh, one of the Platts modules, the sound coming out of one of these. Basically, well, coming out of the left of the clouds, which is mostly this sound. So that might be a little bit difficult to explain, so I'll just go ahead and keep doing it. So basically, I've got my clouds out to my mixer. That's how it's going. And then let's go with these other gray ones. These are what came with the DFAM. Yes, you should get a Euro rack. Seriously though, you should. Because it's just you're going to take a lot of steps going through other synthesizers before you get here, and you might not want to have to do that and just skip right over to Eurorack. Yeah, me too. Use OBS and get my background clean in my video. Sure. Yeah, I'm totally need to do that too. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. And then so out from one Platts into the left of clouds. Out from the other Platts into the right of clouds. So basically, I've got a left and right going on in clouds, but it's doing some stereo widening and stuff like that to at least bleed mostly the signal of one into the other and the other into one. And you can hear that from the beginning of my video, that you can hear both through one channel. You can hear both Platts sounds, one being on the formant and one being on the chords. And so, can we hear that right now? This is without anything being sequenced. It's hard to tell which is which. So basically, we'll go to clouds and we'll go to mode. The mix, got it all the way down. Okay. So this is just dry. Left to left, right to right. Left is left, right is right. This is the chords. Oh, maybe not. Oh, there we go. That's the chords. So non-sequenced. They just keep on going. All right, so I have two sequencers I can use. One, I use the DFAM. I'm using the velocity lane of the sequencer out from the DFAM to go to a plats of the chords. Into the volt per octave. And then the only other thing that needs to happen when you sequence something from a sequencer is you need to trigger it with a gate. And so I go the trigger out. From the DFAM into the trig in of the plats. So now it should be and then run the DFAM. And that other sound is the other plat sound being bled through by clouds to the other side. So we won't do that too loud, we'll just hear that. All right, now the other thing is I use the mini brute, the Arturia mini brute here, to sequence the first plats. So gray for gate, and then this red is the volt per octave. Into the trig and the volt per octave. So you hear that that sound has stopped, right? Until I hit something on the mini brute. Changing the tempo on the mini brute. So basically, the mini brute has a clock. It's not really, you can't go a clock out from the mini brute, so it's hard to clock anything from it by just a clock. You have to use a square LFO, and I haven't successfully done that very well, so I don't even like that solution. I'd rather just get a clock like Pamela's new workout. Is sounding really good, which is kind of sad because it's like, oh, well, I want to go with just black modules, so I can just like spray paint modules that aren't black and just go with modules that I like no matter what they are. That sounds good. Anyway, kind of like this, the power modules. I just want to be consistent. Anyway, yeah, and so the DFAM, because it has a clock, I can sequence that way. But it's also a really free-running clock, and it can take a clock in from something, but you can't really go with the clock out from the mini brute into the DFAM very well. I haven't figured out how to do that. If somebody could help me with that, that'd be cool. Yeah, so that's that. Now let's blend a little bit of the clouds in. And what we're going to do with the clouds, for one, see, we got it panned pretty good like that. And we're going to take the feedback and bring the feedback up. And then we take the reverb. Like that. And that's pretty much what I can do so far. But so what I need, for one, is I need multiples so that whatever I'm clocking, I can clock multiple things together. Like I can clock these two things together easily. Because I can't clock one out of the other. That's hard. So either that or I go straight to getting a clock type module. The other thing besides Pamela's new workout that looks pretty good is something that looks a lot like the ornaments in Crime, or the smaller micro ornaments in Crime units. I think it might just be a difference in firmware, but it's called Tempe Util, or Tempest Util, or Tempe Util, and it sends like 8 or 6 or 8, I think 8 clock outs or trigger outs or other things, and also acts as a quantizer, I believe. And so a little bit simpler than the Ornaments and Crime module, but and simpler than Pamela's too, but only slightly. And it's black too. So yeah. I have the density at the sweet spot, it going to the left so that it's smooth, instead of it being more like random. This density kind of works in tandem. I've got the size of the grains up so that it kind of fills. This density is related to the feedback. The feedback really, the feedback just brings things up. That's how I did the renewing soda bath thing with the feed. It's just all feedback with this harmonics. Let's just go to some different sounds here. Now this is with both plats going to harmonics, and the feedback way up. The other thing that you can do with plats is it's got its own kind of envelope, sort of decay envelope. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I need 2 hands to do it, which is why I couldn't do it in VCV Rack. I couldn't figure out how to hold the button down, right, and also turn a knob. But you hold down this left button here, and then do the morph knob, and that lengthens the note or shortens it. What other goodies we have on here? Oh my gosh, that wave it says table on here. That's beautiful. And then the other one's on table too, but I have the knobs set differently. And the other thing is it's easy to put a pitch envelope on notes by tweaking the FM and the morph and the timbre. See? Then you go the other way, and it goes the other way. and that's for all the sounds. Let's see. That's why I have a stutter. Da, 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 da. That's because the Platz's note I have going longer than the gate note coming into the clouds. So I need to shorten it. If I shorten it, oh, that was an octave. That's my octaves for the chords. Cool. Oh man, there's a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn about this. But anyway, it didn't start doing that stutter thing until I lengthened those a little bit from their factory attack setting. Let's bring that reverb. Now this is just riding the density knob just a little bit. Hey, I will create. You finally made it for one of my live streams. I'm so glad. Yeah, I think one of my favorite thing about Platts so far is this chords voice. Out of the 16 voices, full synth voices that are on these modules, that's what they are. It's just a full synth voice with everything on it, even a VCA. Like it has a level control in to it, so you can use a VCA knob or attenuator or whatever. But anyway, yeah, my favorite is the chords. It's awesome. Now the vowel is really interesting. Well, let's slow this down. Why not use mic in the mixer and sync out in the mixer? I do have the mic into the mixer. I have the mic into my RC505 and then into the mixer just to give a little vocal, help to my vocals. Because I like how the RC505, it has a little bit of low pass filter, tiny amount of reverb, and a little bit of, what do you call, not EQ, but, well, it's kind of a maximizer, anyway. So, and then it's going into here. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but yeah. So the mic is going through the Eurorack into 5, the channel 5. Okay, so now, another thing that I did was I used the System 1M, because it has Eurorack outputs. So I go left, out, left or mono, which is all I did, out to channel 3. That's just okay. Anyway, yes. Okay, so I got that going out. So, but I'm using my mini brute and my DFAM already, so I can just use this. It's kind of like a knob version of a ribbon controller. Do I want to trade my 505? Actually, no, not yet. Because yeah, that's the thing is like I need to actually learn it better because I've always had timing issues, but I think my timing issues have been by the fact that I didn't know how to like pre-program each track to work like it should with each other in the way that I was trying to multi-track record myself. If I learn it better, then it would be good. But if I ever get just like some kind of fantastic multi-effects unit, then this is just getting a little weird. Then maybe, but along. Let it ride. So how about we change that? Change it to some percussion. Yeah, so awesome. Luke Cage, glad to see you here. Hayes Anderson, good to see you here. Yeah. Class. So yeah. So this is basically it. So what I'm thinking I actually kind of need is one, a quantizer for the DFAM. And what I was talking about last time was the ADDAC quad quantizer. It basically has 4 lanes of, you sequence them however you want with whatever you want or itself. But then it puts 4 lanes all into 4 tracks into the same scale of whatever you want, and is also playable as a keyboard too. But the thing is, I think I want even more control than that. Like the idea that I want to be able to change one scale out of key, but not all of them. So what I was thinking actually is about the Pico quants. So I checked out the Pico quant modules, are 3 HP, and they're looking good. And so along those lines, that got me looking at the other Pico modules, and attenuators is what I need. So basically, the other thing that I did with the System 1 in my video is I used the LFO, right? Because I can use the LFO from the System 1. And one reason that that I like this mixer here is because it has panning, CV in on the panning, right? No. Whatever. I just saved something. I pressed the wrong button. Okay, so now I'm trying to just take down the reverb. Cool. So I talking about? Yeah, so this is the panning. It makes that not work, basically. And then, can you... Huh. Shoot. That's the thing, is I can only hear it. What just happened there? My sound must be only coming out of one. It was working differently last time. Is that panning right? That's not panning right. It's just coming in and out. Oh well. It's probably because of how I've got it going into clouds. Yeah. Dang it. Why is it not working? Why are you not working? Why are you not panning? That's funny. Anyway, yeah. Bye, Will. Take it easy. Finish plowing. What is wrong? Put that LFO on the panning. That's exactly how I did it last time, but it's not working. How about try it on this? Try it on something that's not going through the clouds, basically, is the deal. So I'm going to try it on the System 1 sound. Oh, crap. We had no wonder I was in mono. This probably works too. Yeah. Man. Okay. So we were in mono until just then, yeah. Suggest I watch. The velocity and trig out. Yeah, the thing is, okay, see, I try to take pitch out and watch what happens. Here, we'll stop that. Just be doing this. That is working. Okay, so now, see, this last time when I tried to put both into here, one was not working. So I'm going to try to put the volt per octave into the first plats from the pitch and have both plats being sequenced by the D-fan at the same time. See, it's not. That's the thing. It's like if I put the pitch knobs up or down, it doesn't change the pitch. It doesn't do it. But the velocity didn't change. So interesting, huh? But anyway, I could probably use the DFAM as well then, and use the pitch off the DFAM going through the DFAM. But I'm just not using that as a voice today for this video that I already did. This was kind of an explanation for what I already did. If you want to like watch that video and are wondering, of course now I've changed the voices to different things. Yeah, Darren's latest video talked about how orbital is, there's an orbital thing coming up on the 21st at 6 p.m. Yeah. And look at Darren T. House's latest vid. If you do not understand, you do not understand, it's true, you do not. So you need to go see Darren's latest vid. You can actually go into the chat, and there's these, if you hover over his name, there's these 3 dots on the right. And one of them, and the first thing, when if you go to those, hover over those dots, the first thing is going to be go to channel, and then you just go to channel, and then you can go to somebody's channel who's in the chat. Isn't that amazing? We're back to Peanuts, Charlie Brown. This is the classic. I've got FM on it. And that's without any FM. Back to clouds reverb and feedback. Little less reverb. I don't know what we're doing now. We're just having some fun. Right. It's just it's 8 VCAs. It's just eight attenuators in a row to put the signal through. Is all it is. But it works. It works to make notes because those volts just become octaves when you, or become volt per octave when you stick them into a volt per octave. I don't know why the pitch one isn't working. That's the mystery to me. But you know, that's when I actually start learning the patch bay, the DFAM. I'll start learning that. But I don't know when. This is the holidays, so really, so my circuit challenge, my circuit video is not finished. Sorry about that, everybody. Anki, you have a little more time there. But yeah, it's the holidays, and so that's what's going on. And I think I'm gonna even actually take time to do some more last of my Christmas shopping later today before I go to work. Yeah, velocity is a marketing term, but the maybe guys needed to call it something. Yeah, it's just one. Yeah, it's a parameter, but then you know it doesn't have to be the parameter to use. Just like it's like aftertouch. Like I don't know the whole thing about aftertouch. It's like, well, it's cool and all that, but it messed me up more than anything else. But that's a way, not a parameter. Anyway, it's a control. So it's a tangent. Not really like what you guys were talking about. Anyway, you're a star, always spreading the vibe. Thank you. No, I'm just hanging. I don't know. I think this stuff is really amazing. I wish they called it something else. Oh, let's use the LFO on something else, since it's not really working very... Okay, what I was going to say about LFO on panning, the way it was working before, it was working just fine, but it was kind of nauseating because it was going just hard left, hard right, hard left, hard right, and that's what this does, right? And so that's what it was doing. So I didn't have a wet-dry amount to go on this. So I needed an attenuator in between, or a VCA to do that. Yeah, it is. It's just a mod source, right? Okay, so what I want to do now is this. And that's why I need a mult, because I have this one good multi-mode LFO here, but I need more. I can't go LFOs out from the mini brood. Okay, now what we're doing is we're changing the synth voices from one thing to another. Basically, we're doing a sample flip. You can go mode in or model into each one of these plats, and it just changes it to a different voice. So, we can do that. Oh yeah, do that faster. How do you like that? That's just, let's sample flip one of these synthesizers, and that's what happens. Yeah, stackable cables would work. Probably, but they're always passive. I want a buffered mult, so I can take all sorts of things in that are I want to do keyframing. So basically, I want to use a frames module, right? And I want to take a voice like Platts, molt it into 4, which I would need a buffered molt in order to not lose voltage to do that, into each one of the 4 frames of frames, and then out from that back into basically into the 4 speakers, and have that. And each frames module, molt plus frames modules I have in my Eurorack, I could have, it per voice surrounding you. Like, I have a voice of something surrounding you like this, and then I have another voice of something going in different places in the stereo field at different times, and that sort of thing. Really? You lost me? Yeah, loons, man. It's lunacy. Where's Then we'll go back to changing the second Platts. And the first Platts I've got on this FM voice. It's FM synthesis. Of course, we've got FM synthesis on the DFAM as well, but this is a little bit different. It's got all these different algorithms. Not algorithms like FM algorithms, actually, so I shouldn't have said that. But it's got all these, programming functions that go into different wave shapes with algorithms and all that. Yeah. So basically, that's what's going on. Is wow, I can't think with that thing going. That's crazy. I need to set the attack so you can hear it better here. Just a second. And the reverb down. Why can you still hear that? That's okay. Yeah, the arpeggiator. Oh, hey, Marshall. I made this video for you, Marshall. I made it for you. Yeah, actually, I was just waiting for somebody in the comments to say something like, hey, make a video based on what you did. So yeah, you can go back and watch how I patched it. But basically, yeah, this is just kind of, it's not anything special, right? But this is just showing, like, this, as I'm just getting started, this is what I can do, and what I'm limited to is basically it's only because I have a mini brute, right? And and I have a DFAM that I can do any sequencing at all, right? And so I use the DFAM for one, the mini brute for the other. For some reason, the pitch in to volt per octave doesn't work. It just does the same tone. And so I got to figure out how to do that with the DFAM. But the velocity out works in the volt per octave. And so that velocity lane works as one. So I can use that as one. Luckily, I've got my mini brute. I can use that as another. And also, got a nice little arpeggiator going on here. And I've got it on random. We got our loons going on. What's going on here in mode? Now we get weird. So pretty much the clouds makes it all weird no matter what. And I've got both of these voices just going through the clouds. But the thing is, it's like once you put the density up enough, it takes the grain of whatever's coming in, which I've got the grain size all the way up, so it doesn't cut anything off. Like that. See, those are grains. Longer. Change the position. This goes through the actual grain. It's the position, and then I can blend the whole signal from the dry to wet. This is the wet. Wow, it is clouds doing that. So yeah, the grain size. So I've got feedback, too much feedback going on. Feedback is one of the modes on clouds. So if I take the feedback down, that was the pitch. I did the wrong one. Not doing anything in particular. What do you call that? What do you call that? Yeah, I'm loving it when I go just like, and you just don't hear from me anymore. But it's gotta change. That's just the tiny edge of the density, not even a millimeter. And that's what's going on normally, with just some reverb going on. Totally dry. And then on there. It'll take the reverb down, and the blend. Oh, it's still way soft. Turn the gain up. It's got an in gain, so it's got an in VCA on it. And that's always the same. It's just an in gain. No. And then we can freeze things. Didn't really do much. Here, let me put some old reverb on that. With the position, I can keep going back to the same thing. Womp, 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 womp. Yeah, so what are the stars here? Basically just an arpeggiator, like on the Mini Brute. If you have an arpeggiator, it's all good times. But the Mini Brute doesn't have effects on it, so the other star here is the clouds. It's not a delay per se. See, that's a delay. You freeze it to a position, and it delays. And it's got a reverb. So it's got those covered for the Mini Brute. Yeah, and the DFAM's not really doing much except one thing it's really good for is just being a basic 8-step sequencer with a nice light on it. I'll spend more time with all of this, but yeah, it's just kind of, there's too much. There are modules that I'd like to add to this, but I'm not feeling like I need this, I need that, I need that. You know, it's like if I need a mult, you know, maybe I need a mult for something, but there's just so much I can do for a long time, just having what I've got. And so I think it would be best to just like keep focusing on other things for a little while. Yeah. Just change the arc to something else. Oh, let's put that back in there. Put it on chords. Hayes Anderson paid $15.12 for his passive mult. Yes. Yeah. Just solder a couple things together. I mean, that doesn't even really take that much of any. Looks pretty simple. Yeah, anybody could do that. Yeah, totally. And why don't I do that? I don't know. It's always a question. Because I think about it, I want to do DIY stuff, but then it's just like, yeah, it's another thing. I'm already doing a lot, but that could just change what I'm doing a little bit. Yeah. Harps. 5 hours noodling. Yeah, we're off to the noodling now. I kind of explain the helpful things, unless anybody has any questions anytime. That's great, but like, yeah. Can you use circuit to sequence Arturia? Yes. And that's normally what I do is I sequence the mini brute through the circuit, and then I put the CV out from the mini brute to sequence the system one. Is what I've always done. And so the system one can have arpeggios with reverb and delay that sound like they come out of system one, which is great because it's got just a ton of waveforms and it can sound like anything. Kind of like the peak now, is also like that. And now that it's come with just tons more waveforms, 40 some odd, 42 or 43 more waveforms. That's what's actually ending up having been cool about the System 1M is because it's not just got this oscillator and that filter. It just got that filter, but and I don't even ever need to like go the route of the plug outs, the other ones, even though I have a System 100 in there, and that's good. But yeah, subscription services, come on, man. Like I come from a land before that, so it's just really not something that I'm gonna accept. But yeah. Anyway. Would love to rebuild a RE303. Yeah. Is that kind of like the Line 6 credit card sequencer or something like that? Kind of like a TB. I'm going all the way back and building simple stuff to work on synths. So yeah, but the thing is, what I can't do is I can't send that clock that I go from the circuit into the mini brute into anything else. There's no clock out on the mini brute. So my arpeggiator is my clock out. And because I can sync a square wave LFO to the arpeggiator on the mini brute, and then have that square wave LFO be going out to something, instead of like sounding the sound of an arpeggiator, it's the clock, but it doesn't work well at that. I mean, it doesn't, in my experience yet. So yeah, TB303 clone kit. Yeah, awesome. I wonder how that. I'll look that up. I've seen some TB303 clones. That is. Yeah. I'm not gonna go the DIY thing at this moment right now on anything because I just kind of found like these three modules here are DIY modules from a guy who puts together the DIY who makes modules based on the Mutable Instruments open source code. And that's why I was so excited about them, is because they're kind of like, they're my style with the black with the silver knobs, but they're the Mutable Instruments things. And along those lines, just yesterday, I have some news about that, is that frames, I was talking about frames, I want to get into quad. For venues, of course. I'm not so stupid as to think that it's a headphone type of thing. So if you're thinking, well, it doesn't do anything, we have two ears. Well, it's about when you're in a room, like in a concert or in your room or anything like that, you can use quad. Anyway, just a disclaimer about quad if you think I'm crazy. getting into it, thinking that it's gonna be the format again. No, it's not. I don't think it's going to like replace stereo for how people generally listen to music. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, frames. Somebody just posted on Modular Grid a black version of frames that's a full size. That's not just like planks, or the other one that just came out too. That's smaller form, but actual frames, just like it is on the Mutable, only in the same layout, only black, and it seems to have LED lighting around the knob, but not on like the whole knob lighting up, but a ring that might actually change color, which would be cool and a lot more understated than the original frames. I'm still wondering about the clouds, the newer clouds that he's going to do, if Oliver's going to do one, or Olivier, or whoever. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, there's a lot of things like different gear can't do when it comes to talking to each other. So that's a real thing to think about with modulars. Like, do you want to do everything within modular? If you do, then you'd want to get something that you have to start with a clock, or have something be your clock. And an LFO can be a clock, but then, like, if you're going to clock your system, then how are you going to do that? You need mults. And for just a clock, a passive mult will do. If you're doing clock, yeah. As far as I know, although I haven't tried it myself, of course. Yeah, spin the sound around. Yeah, and even in a venue when people are dancing and stuff, that's just like, it's an amazing thing to do. Why have a bipolar setup in a room, in an actual 3D room, when you can have a sound like going places and making people go like, hey, I'm actually here with the sound. It's great. But stereo is great too. But the thing is, I'm really gearing up for, as far as the machine that I'll be building with Eurorack eventually goes. Like, I'll be gearing up to always just be putting things out in both stereo and quad format. That's the goal. But not quad format but like digital, as in basically 4 tracks to put on your 4 speakers. Not just left and right speakers, but 4 of them as either 4 wave files or 2 stereo files to be played together. Basically, anything that unfortunately still requires people to have something like an audio interface with 4 outs, or something with 4 outs to 4 speakers that you can do that with, some kind of surround sound setup that has to do with your speakers. And that takes some kind of knowledge, I guess. That's what I'm saying, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that takes a knowledge that a lot of people just aren't getting from anything like school or anywhere else. Even the idea that you can do it. But yeah. Boom. I love that. Yeah, the chords are kind of like a bell. And I can go through inversions of the chord. Well, you can't. Here. I just go like, this is. And then different inversion. And it just has inversions way up and down. Those are just tiny, tiny increments. One thing that I always kind of like knew would be the case, but I didn't have a chance to just keep on reminding myself much until I just started like really getting into it. But tiny movements, small movements is like what you need for even subtractive synthesis, but especially these digital modules here. They've got so many settings within each little part of one of the knobs, goes into a new territory that you can learn, that you really just go tiny increments, and you can explore. You can make that into a 20-minute trying to figure out what to do with that, just like this little space between the knob. Yes, humans have 2 ears, not four, but when they dance around, then they get this. Because we have 2 ears, we have this 3D spatial ability to pick it out because of us turning our head. So in headphones, yeah, definitely doesn't work. But with 4 speakers in a room, it does. I guess there's Audi's headphones that are supposed to do that, or Morpheus headphones, I think is what they're called, and they're supposed to like detect when your head is moving, so then they'll change the stereo field, but it's just stereo. Yeah, it would make sense for that to still be stereo, I think. Yes, the whole 2 ears thing really still applies in that instance. Yeah. It's only 2 speakers if you know how to mix properly. Yeah, there's that app that it actually really works. Like that I saw somebody did a video of an app that came out recently that will help bring things forward in the room and bring things back in the room, and not just in the stereo field this way and that way, but it'll actually bring some things forward and some things back. And I don't know how they do that, but it really did seem like it, with headphones on. So I guess there's ways to artificially do it, but I'm not really interested in trying that out yet, because my beginner's idea is something I can wrap my head around, which is just going out to 4 different things going out to 4 speakers. And where the intricacy lies is how do you pan that stuff so that it's in dimensions. But see, it's not just about going around. It's not just about how much is in each speaker, but also the amount of reverb is gonna at that time is gonna actually coming out of each speaker is gonna determine how close something seems to you, and so you can really like pinpoint place things if you want by sequencing within the Euro rack. Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm thinking about. Is like, what are all the ways that you do that? So, like Andrew Huang in Bo's new 2018 gear reviews video that had all the people in it. Andrew Huang's contribution was to mention the Synapse, the Qubit Synapse, which is their keyframing device that actually works for quad, because it slews in between the 4. Not only does it crossfade between 2 things within each 4 input, it also has a slew for the 4, and I don't know how well that works in practice, but obviously if it's made to do that, then it probably works pretty well. And Andrew Huang is saying it works pretty well. But I might still go with the mutable instruments frames, because I, through having watched enough videos, know exactly how that one works, and that would work for my purposes. There's also the Coma Poltergeist, which Heinbach has used in the past, and I can understand why he would really like that, because it's got it all and is really great, but it's also the most expensive out of the one module keyframers. And there's also ways to do that without keyframing modules. If you have multiples and VCAs and other things, then you can just send things out to 4 speakers in ways, by routing. You can route yourself, but to crossfade between things is the key. It's like, how do you smoothly crossfade and not just use a sequential switch to go out to 4 things? but yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you do it DIY. Make a keyframer or scanner. Is that you'd use a sequential switch and a slew limiter between the four. Yeah. So I think I've done enough of just like I patched it up and stuff, and everything's great, and I could just go like keep doing this forever, but I really have to. Nature is calling. So yeah, that happens during live streams. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm gonna call it good. An hour 21. This is my longest so far, so I don't feel bad calling it good. Have a good, wonderful time, folks. Thank you, everyone for showing up. Yeah, wow. It's like I've got regulars now. I really appreciate you guys showing up because it really helps to just have people here and have a group of friends here for moral support and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, Floyd. Excellent. Floyd, whose name isn't really Floyd, I think, but I forgot actually your name, but you're awesome. Um, or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. but but you're awesome. It's good to have you around, and your videos are just also amazing. And thanks for coming around, Marshall. It's good to to have you here on this. Marshall, you've been one of my first inspirations for wanting to go live and do live streaming and stuff like that. I've thought about it ever since I've started watching your live streams well over a year ago, a couple of years ago. It's been now, and so yeah, I appreciate you being around, and thanks a lot for showing up, Inky and Hayes and Darren and everybody. And well, have a wonderful day and have a wonderful Christmas. And I'm not going to do anything till January, except for put out that circuit video if I finish it. But hey, family's first. So sorry, people, and it should be for you too. But January, jam a day. Okay. Okay. I'll probably do DFAM and voice. That's what I want to do, I think. Just have it going and just go blah, 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 and just come up with something. Anyway, yeah. Take it easy, Marshall. I will see you probably later today, Mogwan Mondays, maybe. And I'll see you all on the flip side. Thanks for coming, synth friends. Keep jamming.